Hey, it's Clay at claycharter.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, August 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a few clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, OPEN, another big mover today, and overall good solid pattern, and the trend continues. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level. I think it served its purpose for now, and there's just a lot more, I think, cleaner of a way to map out everything headed into next week, and that is with the pattern that is formed with today's price movement. So let's get this drawn into play. And this is a situation where I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is some sort of special discovery or anything. Got to think a lot of people have noticed this pattern. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let's get the bottom part of the pattern in green for support. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the nice upwards move right here. And then for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. And this would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. My point here is it valid? Is it plausible to think that the price could potentially do something like that, come up and break and then get good momentum? Yeah, that is a plausible scenario. Guaranteed, no. But is it valid to throw that out there as a suggestion in question? Absolutely. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one, SRXH, and after all kind of the drama from this first part of the day where the price was up and then had this pretty big pullback, things have now leveled out and given us a couple of, I think, pretty well-defined areas to watch moving forward. So the first dynamic is the fact that the price has slowly been creeping upwards, and I think the best way to see that is just via that uptrending trend line right there, right? I mean, you had a low here, and then I'm, broadly speaking, a group of lows here, and now you have a group of lows up here, and these lows keep getting higher and higher. Therefore, you have the ability to draw that trend line in there. So in my mind, that's the key level to watch moving forward. And as long as the price stays above that trend line, then you gotta feel confident that the bulls are maintaining it themselves and potentially trying to prep for another move back to the upside. And then in terms of that move back to the upside, pretty well, well seen level right here around the 59-cent mark. You can see right here a couple times price didn't quite hit it, but a couple of other times the price hit it exactly. So keep an eye on that level. But yeah, as I speak, and that's why I like to do these when the markets are open, getting pretty jiggy with it the last 30 minutes here. This candle is kind of moving around quite a bit, or at least it was. But overall, keep an eye on those levels there. But yeah, from a breakout standpoint, I think that 59-cent mark is very, very interesting. Next one here, PGEN, and talked about this already in terms of pattern-wise. So I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible, and I want to respect your time. So you've already heard me talk about this pattern, but nonetheless, we'll get it drawn into play. So there's the resistance part. And then let's bring this across as the bullish part. And then just to make sure everybody sees it, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the nice upwards move right here. And again, for you golfers, put the golf hole down here, we're looking at another bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, you're definitely getting quite a few choices here headed into Monday. Next one here, PMNT. A little tricky to talk about because there's perspective that goes into it. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you were buying right here and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, things are looking pretty shaky. But if you care about the bigger picture and care about just more so, kind of maybe you're not even in it yet, then we do have ourselves a very interesting situation because you got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. And again, one of those areas where when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some pretty dynamic movement. So is it guaranteed to happen if the price breaks through that level? As I've said already, it is not guaranteed. But is it rational to throw out the question, hey, I think there's a possibility that if the price breaks there, that could get some nice upwards buying pressure? I think that is a more than valid question to throw out there. And then in terms of areas of support, nothing fancy here, just really a question of where did the bleeding stop and the price start to go sideways. And you can see that was essentially right here at the 48-cent mark where the price just, bounced several times right off that area. So overall, keep an eye on 48 cents as that key support. And yeah, we'll see if the price can maybe get a push up through that level. Next one here, WULF, did this in the previous video, and overall things are doing just fine. In fact, the price is doing a fantastic job of staying above that trend line right there, which is all in and of itself a very impressive sign of strength because that trend line is quite a bit up there on the chart. Even if the price were to drop below the trend line, as I discussed already, as long as the price stays above that purple line there, the 50-period simple moving average, then overall the price is fine. But again, price is not only above that purple line, it's not even anywhere close to breaking down below the trend line right there. So that's what I mean by the price is certainly maintaining its gains very well. And now that we have more data, it looks like the level of resistance can be adjusted. But the key question here is this, is notice what direction I need to make this adjustment. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area right up to that level now at 925. And I did have to adjust that in the upwards direction. So if you're a bullish, that is a good thing. Whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that is a good sign. So good to see there that the price is continuing to push higher and higher. But most importantly, at least in my opinion, is the fact that the price continues to maintain not only above that trend line, but also the purple line. So in other words, the trend remains fully in the bulls' favor headed into next week. Real quick, I want to take a break and help you hopefully potentially solve a very common problem, and that is the pattern day trader rule. And you wanting to be a day trader, meaning wanting to have unlimited day trades every day, but you can't do it because of that pattern day trader rule. Well, I am in the market and trading the market that not only is there no pattern day trader rule, but it's open 23 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it moves very, very quickly. So if you're somebody that likes volatility, then you will love this market, and you can actually get involved for very, very little of your own capital. I do understand maybe this all sounds a little too good to be true. Totally get it. That is why I'm inviting you to check out the live stream that I do starting every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be reminded of when I go live. But you will see exactly what I'm talking about here in action. So this is something where I put my money where my mouth is. And if you want to come and see it with your own very own eyes, ask me questions, then definitely swing by the live stream. So like I said, definitely check it out, especially if you're somebody that is very annoyed by that pattern day trading rule. Next one here, INTC, and we once again have the pattern. So just with the goal of trying to respect your time as much as possible, let's go through this quicker. So you've already heard me talk about it. So there's our, oops, let's get that. There we go. There's our bottom part right there of the pattern. And then just to make sure we can all see it, resistance, support, big move up right here. Golf hole down here, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I'd say the biggest difference here is that the price range on this one is a little bit more than the other ones. The previous two were, down below $5, but this is on more of a well-known stock. So maybe if you're in the world of options, something like that, might make sense for you. But at the end of the day, you have to make those determinations. But overall, if you like bull pennants, here you go. Next one here, MTNB, very, very explosive mover. And yeah, today has been apparently the day of bull pennants because, yeah, you guessed it, we are looking at another bull pennant on this one headed in to Monday. So there's our support and resistance. And then just because I cannot help myself, let's keep it all one color. Resistance, support. Nice upwards move there. Golf hole down here. Looking at another bull pennant pattern. Next one, PPSI. And this is one where, again, all about perspective. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 seconds, well then yes, from that standpoint, things are looking rough. But from the bigger picture, the chart's hanging in there. It's still got plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. Or if you're just not even in it yet, but you're just looking for setups, then yeah, this is one of those interesting setups, I think, because you have some well-defined areas. And I think the level that a lot of people have probably drawn is that trend line right there. So it just goes back to that talking point of those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So while nothing is guaranteed, certainly more than valid to think that if the price comes up there and pushes up through there, that could, create some upside buying pressure. So yeah, worth it to throw out a question mark? I think absolutely. I think that is a more than plausible and valid situation that could happen. And then in terms of areas of support, as far as where the buyers are hanging, whoops. Try that again. There we go. As far as where the buyers are hanging out, keep an eye down there at right around $4.14. And no fancy logic behind that other than the fact of from where this pullback started up here, came all the way down here. That's finally just where the bleeding stopped. Therefore, like I said, no fancy logic. I would call 413 that key area of support. Next one, NVDA. And overall, the chart's hanging in there. In fact, it actually got back above this trend line here that I talked about in the previous videos. But from the bigger picture, it recovered nicely. Let me just get that out of here because just to set the context, this candle here was the opening 30 minutes. And it absolutely got dumped on all the way down to that level right here. So to think that the price was ultimately able to bounce all the way back up, all things considered, sure, it was still a red day, but compared to where it started off the day during that opening 30 minutes, I would say NVIDIA battled back very nicely. It is still and maintaining above that pink line, and that's what you want to see moving forward. But definitely a level that needs to be thrown in there as an update to keep an eye on next week is going to be right around that 177.85 mark. Basically was the lows of today right here. And then I guess you can't see it because it's behind my ugly mug. But if you look back here, you can see there's other congestion right around that area right there. So keep an eye on that if the price does decide to roll back over. If the price drops below 177.90, I'm still not going to say the chart's destroyed, but that would start to be a little worrisome. If the price tries to bounce back upwards, then yes, right now, yeah, you have 183.90 up there, but I think that's kind of irrelevant right now just because it's so far away. The first key area from a relevance standpoint is that purple line, which you can now see. The price is really struggling to get any sort of momentum up through it. It's pushed up above there a few times, but as far as maintaining above it, that's where it struggled. So keep an eye on the purple line there, right now valid at 181.25 if the price does try to bounce back upwards. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm going to pat charts on the back. This trend line here has been pretty much on the money. If you go back to Thursday's open, you can see that that trend line is right where the price got rejected. And then you look at today's open, and sure, the price poked its head up a little bit above there, but that's where the purple line came into play, that 50-period moving average. So basically a double whammy of resistance right there. And that also smoked the price back downwards. So moral of the story, I'm going to get rid of that level, is headed into next week. It's essentially a double whammy of resistance. Whammy number one is that trend line, and then whammy number two, kind of hard to see because it's hiding behind the trend line. But you have that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. Now, that's not to say that the price can never break above those areas. I'm just saying if there is going to be any sort of bigger move next week, then yeah, the bulls really are going to have to bring their A game because they're going to have to fight through that area of resistance right there. And then in terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate it at this point, which is as much as the price has drifted downwards. I think a whole lot of eyes and people are going to be caring about that 200-period moving average, which right now valid at, we'll just call it 323.50. If the price comes down to 323.50 and breaks below there, again, does that mean Tesla's game over? I'm not saying that, but that does start to suggest that the wheels are beginning to fall off the bus a little bit. But as of now, price real isn't that close to the 200-period moving average, but still, it's getting somewhat down in the range. So yes, key level of resistance next week, the trend line, key level of support, that 200-period moving average. So grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 list. But again, if you are wanting to solve your pattern day trading problems, maybe you're just sick and tired of getting stuck in kind of a lot of choppy action, then this market that I've been trading will solve all those problems. Not to mention you can have very, very little capital at risk because it just doesn't require a whole lot of money to get started up front. So if you want to learn more, make sure you check out that link. Or like I said earlier, if it's all sounds a little too good to be true, maybe skeptical, totally understand, come check out the live stream. Live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern time I start. Usually I go for a few hours. And come ask me questions. I'd be happy to provide any sort of clarity that you may need. So thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoy these top 10 videos, make sure you hit that like button and definitely, hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.